Good evening, dear friends. So the new year. There are only a few days left until the long-awaited new year arrives. We've been waiting for it since last January 1st. And this year, what do you think the new year will be like? Many people already know. It turns out this is the year of the snake. And as we know, a snake is not only a predatory animal, but also quite an elegant one. That's why it loves flexibility and beauty. So today, the exercises we will do together will be aimed at helping women improve their flexibility and beauty. And for men, on the contrary, they will add a bit more firmness. Because the New Year holidays are coming up, and you'll need something to do during those 10 days. And to please our dear ladies, today we'll also focus a bit on potency. But these will be exercises that will give women the effect of increased mobility, flexibility, and improved blood supply to the pelvic organs. And it will be very beneficial for men as well because it will help prevent prostatitis. And those who already have some issues will also like this effect. And it also increase your potential for the New Year holidays, and you'll have something to do. Since the snake is not only a predatory, but also an elegant animal, it loves beauty. That's why all the exercises we'll be doing today are recommended to be done in evening dresses. For men, you can also do them in shoes, but for men, just a tuxedo, a bow tie, or a tie is enough if you don't have anything else at home. This is a sign of respect for the snake. So, friends, look at what we're going to do. There are certain muscles that stabilize the pelvis. Since our organs are located inside our pelvis, first of all, we need to make sure that the blood flow to all of these organs improves. To do this, we need to relieve certain muscles that are constantly in a state of hypertonus. Which ones? These are the piriformis muscle, primarily the obturator muscle, and there are also the pelvic floor muscles, which work chaotically. They tense when they shouldn't. They don't relax when they should, and their function becomes disrupted. We need to restore the mobility of the coccyx, and also we need to work a bit on the iliopsoas muscle to improve the regulation of blood flow to and from the pelvic organs. And all of this needs to be done while also stabilizing the pelvis itself. For this, we need the gluteus medius muscle. So, friends, the mobility of the hip joint also has a significant impact on the condition of the pelvic organs. With limited joint mobility, both the gluteus maximus and gluteus medius muscles gradually begin to weaken, and the blood supply to the pelvic organs is disrupted. And the smaller muscles start to become excessively tense. This includes the piriformis and gemellus muscles. That's why its mobility is important. And today, we will also be working on improving this mobility together. All right, I promised too much. It's time to get started. Time to do the exercise. So, friends, the first part of the exercises will appeal more to those who don't like to strain themselves. For this, you need a ball like this. It should be quite firm, not soft. It's better to use something harder than a tennis ball. There are special massage balls like this, and you'll need to use it to press on the muscles that are right here in the back. First of all, you'll need to work through this entire area of the gluteus maximus muscle, and you'll also get a bit of the gluteus medius muscle here, right here along the upper edge of the iliac bone. Then move down to here. This formation is called the posterior superior iliac spine, and under it, right into this little pit. You see, you'll need to hit right here with the ball. This area is very important since several muscles pass through this spot in G, including the upper piriformis muscle. Spasms often form here, causing impaired venous outflow and disrupted blood supply. So, this is the second most important area that needs to be worked on. And third, the third spot. It's right here between the ischial bone and the femur. You can do this standing. You can do it sitting, this lower part specifically. You can also do it lying down. So standing, you stand near a wall like this with your back. The ball is right here behind you. You squeeze the ball between the wall and your back. You work through all these areas. If you find a painful area, you stop on it for about 2 minutes. Then you move on to the next point. Next, you also work through this area. It might be more painful. If, when you start pressing here, pain appears and goes down your leg, this is a sign that the sciatic nerve is being pinched by the piriformis muscle. Reduce the pressure a little if it hurts too much. Gradually, the muscles will start to relax and the pain will go away. And the third area is right here. It's more convenient to do this while sitting. You just sit down. For example, on a chair. You put the ball like this, and you sit on it, working on this area, like that. So, these are the first 3 points you need to ensure the flow. To increase blood flow to the pelvic organs, but at the same time also improve the outflow. In other words, to restore blood circulation. Do this on both sides. You can start by doing 3 points on one side, then 3 points on the other side, or you can alternate right and left. There's not much difference here. There you go. So, when you're working through it for the first time, you might feel quite a bit of pain. Massaging this point may also cause pain down your leg here, the sciatic nerve. There. If you have issues with it, it might also be affected, but you're not pressing on it directly, you're pressing on the spasmed muscle. So, when the muscle is tense, it might react a bit as well. At the same time, you will also heal your sciatic nerve. This area is also quite painful. The same goes for when you work on it. So how do you find it? Look, from the back, on both sides. First, find these two bones here that stick out. Go down. In the middle, you'll find the sacrum, which is denser. And right next to it, on both sides, there are soft spots. These are exactly the places you'll be aiming for, right in these spots. That's it. And you need to work on each of these points for, well, at least 2 or 3 minutes. If you do it for 2 or 3 days, you'll already feel the effect. Well, friends, we've just massaged these points, and now we need to add a little bit of exercise. Relaxing is good, of course, but you also need to add some movement. As they say, movement is life. So, friends, this exercise is needed to relieve excessive tension in the piriformis muscle and shift the load to the gluteus medius muscle. And in this way, the blood supply to our pelvic organs, including the small pelvis and the organs of the reproductive system, will improve. I'm going to use a roller like this, but you can replace it if you don't have one. What can you use instead? Some kind of pillow, but one that's pretty firm. All right, friends, here's what we're doing. We take this bolster, put it right here under the leg, and now turn a little bit this way, just like that, and start lifting your leg, just like this. Lift, lower, lift, lower. So I'm not just lying on my side like this, you see. I turned a little bit, made a slight rotation like this. As much as my hip joint flexibility allows me, some people can turn more, some less. It's no big deal. You don't need to arch your back like this. I'm just doing this to show you. Here, you just lie down like this. You don't need to arch your back, so your lower back doesn't get overloaded or strained. So you're lying down. You can turn your head toward the leg that's on the ground. Like this, right here. And in this position, you start to lift your leg. Right here. For some people, it will go higher. For others, lower. That's okay. It will gradually improve. What happens from this movement? There is tension here. In the front part of the middle gluteal muscle. That is, this movement happens quite rarely in our lives. The muscle rarely works at this angle. Well, you could say it doesn't work at this angle in everyday life. But at the same time, as the front part of the middle gluteal muscle is tensed, the piriformis muscle relaxes at that moment. Because, what everyone knows the problem with the piriformis muscle, that it's prone to excessive tension. And, first of all, the sciatic nerve starts to suffer, but also the reproductive system loses its full function. Because of this, lymphatic and various venous stagnation occurs. Against this background, various inflammatory processes can develop in both men and women, different types of prostatitis in men. For example, and that's how it happens. Even when you do this exercise, you'll feel an improvement in blood circulation right away. In the lower abdomen, perhaps. For some people, it might be in the gluteal muscle area, especially if you used the ball before and worked a bit on what we did earlier. Because what's happening here is not just the stretching of the piriformis muscle. Now, if you put your hand on the second point that we are massaging, at the moment when you lift your leg, when it tenses a little bit here in the front, there is maximum relaxation here in the back. Also, this movement allows you to relieve the hip joint, remove the tension that appears in the muscles surrounding it and are excessively tense at the same time. It gradually improves the mobility of the joint like this. I will do it together with you. So, we've done one side. Now we need to do the other side. Many will notice that the mobility might be a little different. Mobility can be different on the right and on the left. It's nothing to worry about. Don't be afraid. It's all a matter of practice. Here, you put it down. Here, you see, it's not necessary for your leg to be bent at a right angle from the very beginning. You can do it a little bit. However, it's comfortable for you. For example, put your leg a bit lower like this, and we start the same move. Also lift it up, then lower it. Make the amplitude comfortable for you. That is, there's no need to lift your leg as high as possible right from the very first workout. Do it gradually, but place your leg fully right here. Lift it up, put it down. And here as well. Here. We are working to gradually relax the piriformis muscle. And the load is shifting more onto the gluteus medius muscle. Try it at slightly different angles. A little higher, a little lower, lift your leg. But it's tensing up here in the front part of the gluteus medius muscle. Right here in this spot. Put your hand back. That part. I'll show it again later. Right under the posterior superior iliac spine. This area right here, under it, it relaxes the most during this movement. Maximum relaxation occurs when you lift the leg like this. You must have a roller. Without a roller, this movement won't work. Without a roller, you could injure your joint, your hip joint. The point here is that when you place the roller, you get an angle where your hip joint is maximum loaded. It's like it gets relieved. The distance between the joint surfaces also increases. And also, for men, well, and for women too, this will be useful. During this movement, the excessively tense pelvic floor muscles relax. Also, when you do this exercise, you'll notice that, well, there's a pleasant sensation, and you realize that even in places you didn't think were constantly tense, something finally relaxed there. Well, my friends,